An immoral montage that is completely false. That's how Turkey's prime minister qualified an alleged phone recording where Recep Tayyip Erdogan purportedly tells his son Bilal to get rid of millions in stashed cash. While Erdogan calls the video, which went viral on YouTube Monday evening, a, quote, dirty plot and alludes to the hand of his once backer, Pennsylvania-based cleric Fethullah Gulen, the opposition wants a full inquiry. And on Tuesday, riot police dispersed anti-Erdogan demonstrators in Istanbul as the opposition called for that inquiry, all part of the latest installment in what the New York Times correspondent sees as rivaling the best Turkish soap opera, what with a widening graft probe targeting Erdogan insiders, and the government responding with a wholesale purge of the police and judiciary, an internet censorship bill that was signed this Wednesday, and plans to place the country's intelligence services under the Prime Minister's direct control. With local elections around the corner, where does it all leave Erdogan and a nation until recently hailed, for its growth and ability to marry Islam and Western-style democracy? Today, in the France 24 debate, we're asking, is it a vile plot or a smoking gun? And with us to talk about it from Ankara, Galip DALAY of the SETA Foundation think tank. Thank you very much for being with us here in the France 24 debate. Also with us, Barçin, YİNANÇ, opinion editor for Hurriyet Daily News. We also have the competition, Emre DEMIR, of the editor at Zaman, France. Thank you for being with us. And political consultant Arnaud. Welcome back to the France 24 debate. The France 24 debate, where you can weigh in on the conversation on Facebook and on Twitter, our hashtag F24debate. Once again, that leaked tape, just the very latest in a long list of surprises that Turkey has seen over the past few months.
It was a defiant Erdogan who addressed members of the ruling AK party, denouncing the telephone recording posted on the internet as an attack against the office of the Prime Minister by political rivals.
There aren't any allegations that I cannot answer, but neither members of the AK party nor I will be lured by their traps to change the agenda, and we will not surrender to this game.
The controversial recording surfaced late on Monday night and alleged that Erdogan told his son to dispose of large sums of money. It comes amid an ongoing investigation into corruption by the government. His office released a statement calling the recordings fake and completely untrue, but his opponents have seized the opportunity, calling once more for his resignation.
The Turkish Prime Minister is tarnished by theft and bribery and should resign immediately. Turkey cannot move forward with this burden.
However, opinion on the streets of Istanbul remains divided.
In terms of its authenticity, for me, everything seems to be true, and I believe that Turkey is going down an irreversible path.
I don't think these recordings are authentic. There is no evidence, no corroboration, nothing.
The corruption scandal has spiralled into one of the biggest challenges of Erdogan's 11-year rule. With the country set to go to the polls in a matter of weeks, the race is becoming increasingly dirty.
The timing is everything. Let's begin in Istanbul. Barçin, YİNANÇ, your thoughts. Does that tape seem authentic to you?
Well, after this point, really, I'm not sure whether it matters so much, whether it's authentic or not. The problem is what happens from now on, because it's the latest episode in the power struggle between the Gülenists and the government. The problem is we don't trust the institutions in Turkey that will sort of clarify whether this is authentic or not. Because on the one hand, I think the general public is convinced that there is some kind of an autonomous structure within the state apparatus who are decided to harm the government. But on the other side, we have a government that by their very reaction seem to cover up these corruption allegations. So the problem is now we are facing with a dilemma, and the institutions which should sort of clarify and should bring out the truth are no longer trusted by the public as well.
All right, let me get you, Emre, DEMIR, your thoughts. Does it matter whether or not the tape is authentic?
Sure, it matters. We don't know yet if it's authentic or not, but it's really very easy to find out the veracity, the authenticity of these recordings. We're talking about a 10-minute voice recording, telephone recordings. So the government can call the independent experts around the world, so they can prove that whether it's wrong or right. So it's not very difficult to find out the authenticity of these recordings. And it seems like...
and what's your gut feeling on that?
Well, nothing is shocking, actually. If you're talking about the current situation in Turkey, we've seen these recordings coming from a Twitter account, Haramzadeler, which became the Turkish WikiLeaks. Some of them are verified by the Prime Minister Erdogan himself. For example, he said that he called a news channel which is called Habertürk to interfere the news, how they treat the news about the opposition leader Bahçeli. So
we'll talk about that later.
It could be true. It will be shocking, actually.
Galip, DALAY, does it seem plausible to you as well?
I think first, none of us here can claim to be the expert of whether it is authentic or not. But what I can say from the content of the videotape, the conversation seems extremely illogical to believe that it is authentic, because you have lines like that. Prime Minister supposedly telling that his son that they have been wiretapped for the last 2 years. But in the meantime, that he using the phone to convey his message to his son. So I mean, the content of the videotape, the content of the recording seems extremely illogical to believe that it is authentic. But you know, as I said, I don't think none of us in the studio can claim to be expert. So therefore, I cannot make a definite judgment, or I can say that Turkey has had such recordings so many times in the last couple months. So therefore, we don't know which one is authentic and which one is fabricated. All we can say is based on the content of the conversation, we might arrive at some conclusion. And based on this content, I see the conversation being extremely illogical. Therefore, it seems a little bit implausible to me that it is an authentic recording.
All right, Arnaud, Castagnets, it seems illogical to you as well?
Well, it's not that illogical. I mean, why are we asking ourselves if it's authentic or not? It's because for several months there have been investigations and accusations against members of Erdogan's inner cycle, Minister of European Affairs, Minister of Economy. We know that there is an investigation against Erdogan's son. So, of course, none of us can say that we are 100% sure that these tape recordings are true. However, if we think that it could be true, it's because it's another episode in this long-lasting political struggle between Erdogan and institutions, and between Erdogan and Fethullah Gülen. So we know that. We can be almost sure that there are corruption investigations and accusations against member of Erdogan's circle. So from that, at the moment we need to Turkey need to solve this problem, and Turkish people must think about something else, because it has been many months now since these investigations have started.
Let me ask you, Barçin, YİNANÇ, where you are, we're getting one person on Twitter saying that Gezi Park is closed by riot police amid the anti-corruption protest again. First of all, is that have you heard confirmation of that Gezi Park is closed?
As of now, I haven't.
All right,
but that wouldn't really surprise me.
I was going to say, what I mean, right now we have the graft probe going on, and we have the build-up to those local elections coming up. How electric is the atmosphere in Istanbul?
Well, we're heading for local elections, actually, and ever since the Gezi protests, which started by a group of environmentalists to protect a park to be demolished, and instead of it, there were plans to make shopping malls. Normally, environmental issues and local issues should have come up to the forefront during these local elections. Unfortunately, we do not talk about local issues at all. This local elections has turned to some sort of a general elections. In fact, the Prime Minister himself has said that this would be sort of a plebiscite. So people, I have the feeling, will not be voting according to what their wishes will be as far as their local administrators, but I think they would vote according to their, let's say, political ideologies, whether they will decide where to stand vis-a-vis the government or not. But obviously, the fact that the government might garner a good amount of votes should not clear the government from all these corruption allegations.
Does that mean, Emre DEMIR, that ultimately will this audio tape, if it's authenticated, matter?
Well, it is too early to assess the damage for Erdogan after these recordings, these voice with the telephone recordings. But we can say that all these allegations would and could affect the vote of AKP. Erdogan is still enormously popular in Turkey, but Erdogan himself said that he would settle for a 35% vote or 38% vote. So I think we can say that even AKP, even Erdogan, waits for a lesser vote than he got in 2011. He got a vote on 70%. So we can wait a vote around to 35% to 40%.
Do people feel as though this is a power play? Or do people feel as though there genuinely is a problem with corruption?
Well, now it is too late to find the truth, actually, because Erdogan chose to destroy the judicial independent judiciary in Turkey, the police. He's now trying to reinforce secret services in Turkey. So it has become now difficult to find the truth. But I personally think that Erdogan plays the same strategy he used since the Gezi movement. He's trying to demonize the Gulen movement to legitimate his positions on the judicial law, the meat law, etc. He plays on fear.
Galip, DALAY, do you agree that the response that we've seen, with the tightening of the law on internet, with the passing this Wednesday of a bill that places the naming of judges under the power of the judiciary, is that not an admission of guilt on the part of Erdogan when he's reacting in this manner?
Well, we have to put this into a bigger picture, and we should not, and it is not true that accusation against the Gülen movement for having their own group agenda by using the state power in order to reach their goal. It hasn't started with Erdogan, and it hasn't started actually with AK Party. I mean, first and foremost, the people who has accused the movement for having an independent agenda, independent of interest of the state, independent of the public interest, in order to reach its religious or its whatever goal, has been going on back to 2005, 2010, and previously it started with liberal circles, left circle, the Kurdish circle, and in this case the government is the last one that joined this club. So you have, for instance, the journalists such as Ahmet Şık and Nedim Şener, who claim that they have been jailed by Gülen movement using their power within police and judiciary because of their investigative journalism into the action and into the action of the movement. You have former top bureaucrats saying that they have been jailed because of the power struggle within the bureaucracy between the Gülen movement and the member of the Gülen movement and other bureaucrats. You have the Kurdish politicians and the Kurdish side accusing Gülen movement being behind the mass arrest of Kurdish politicians and activists because of their hawkish stance on the Kurdish questions and because of their opposition to the negotiation between Kurdistan Workers' Party and Turkey for reaching a political solution. So in this regard, we have to see this whether we have to see whether Erdogan is trying to control or whether AK Party is trying to control judiciary and police. I mean, we should look at it from this background. So the judiciary and police has been accused for having a group agenda when it's conducting a public affairs, and that has been also confessed by a very wide range of judiciary personality himself. You have a group called Democrat judges and prosecutors who has been claiming this for so long.
But is this the right way to go about things? Is this the right way to go about reforms? Putting, for instance, the MIT, the intelligence services under the direct orders of the Prime Minister? Doesn't it make it seem, though, that it's a power grab on the part of the Prime Minister?
Well, definitely there is problem with the recent legislation, and that's why some of the legislation has been amended on the way. I mean, that was the case with the internet bill. I mean, and I do expect that there will be more amendment to MIT bill and other bills. So that doesn't mean whatever is being proposed and whatever has been right now in the process will be the final things. In the end, the government and the politics, the visible politics, is amenable to public opinion, and we are talking about a catch-all party. We are talking about a party who has a voting base of 45 to 50%. So it cannot it cannot be contrary to the wishes of people. It cannot pursue an agenda which is being deemed unfavorable by the electorate. So because of that, I do think that there will be correction of the problematic part of all these bills. Right now, so many things are being adopted or are being charted within the context of this power struggle. So, I mean, that was the case with also, as I said, with the internet bill, and that's why, the parliament has already amended some aspect of the internet bill in order to meet. All right,
so democracy will run its course, is what you're suggesting. We're going to have to take a quick break, and we're going to get the reaction of some of the other panelists on this. You're watching the France 24 debate.